lots of the beautiful human being watching this, hoping good, hope life is fitting well, and in this one, we're going to learn from the best, the final boss of email marketing. Now, what you're looking at is some emails from a brand called Magic Mind. You probably have heard of them. And, I've seen thousands of emails from thousands of brands, and for me personally, Magic Mind just has the entire package, right? I mean, this has to do a little bit with personal preference. I do like the vibe and style they have in every email. And the cool thing about them is that if you see a Magic Mind email from a mile away, you know it's a Magic Mind email, right? Let's put it that way. So they have these unique brand mark on every email, right? Really cool. So let's get into the most recent emails they have. And I want to start by talking about the 3-step rule. And this is basically a system that you need to implement on every email you make if you want to make good emails, right? And let me show you what this means. So we got the first step, we got the second step, and the third step. And you notice that this almost kind of feels like a story. You have the beginning, the middle, and the end. And you're going to notice this pattern on almost all of their emails. They also have a button at the beginning and a button at the end. There's a very specific reason why they do that. I'm not going to get into it because that would take me a long time to explain the science behind it. But this is what you need to be doing. And the other thing is, they don't have much text in their email. And this has to do with the digestion part. You need to create a digestible email. If you have too much copy, too much text, you're just going to add churn, and that's not good, right? So let's continue. First step, second step, third step. First, second, third. First, second, third. First, second, third. You get it, right? They have these very similar pattern. And since we're talking about pattern, they also use the psychological, again, pattern that works really well. And I also use it for my clients. And yeah, it's one of the best. So, for example, on these email, they're making the reader feel relatable to what they're reading. They're kind of feeling, oh, this is me, right? Here, they're making the reader feel like, they're giving the reader free value, okay? I was already thinking about the next thing. So here they're giving the reader free value, and here they're giving the reader or the possible customer the ultimate solution as the product they're selling, right? And I do this a lot for two of my clients that this works really well for consumables, and it works really well. And the cool thing about them is that they do this on most of their emails, and they always find completely different angles and topics, so the email doesn't always feel the same. And this works really well, right? And the other thing I want to talk about here is the simplicity aspect, and this has to do with digestion as well, because generally speaking, simplicity sells and complexity adds churn or doesn't, right? So the simpler your email, the best. But what's happening nowadays is people are prioritizing design over simplicity. And don't get me wrong, design is extremely important. But what I mean by this is usually the more beautiful your email looks, the more complex it becomes, generally speaking, right? And they have these perfect, balance between simplicity and design. And that's why I absolutely love their emails. And yeah, I see a lot of people just focusing primarily on design, and that's not ideal. Like, on the external, the email might look beautiful, but on the internal and the layout and the copy, which I'll get to that in a second, it's just not there. And since I mentioned copy, usually I say that everything works together: simplicity, layout, and copy, right? And the amount of copy as well. Like I said, you can't just send a book. You need to have just a little bit of copy, right? The perfect amount. But if I had to choose something that is like the most important thing of all, is the copy. And it's funny because nowadays that's where people focus the less. That's where people focus the less. What they do is they just make a beautiful, good-looking email, and they just give you information about their product. Don't do that, okay? Like, that's not going to sell. You're just promoting your product. You're not giving value to your customer. You're not giving stories to your customer. And by that, I mean the psychological pattern. And you're not connecting with your customer either. For example, here, when you're talking about your particular avatar, when you know their life, when you know the way they live their life, generally speaking, you can talk directly to them and they can feel like they're being heard. This is very important. And copywriting is basically the ability, in a general way, to write in a way that feels like some human being is speaking to you, right? And one of the reasons why not many people focus on it, it's because good copywriting is expensive, okay? So it's also understandable, but is it worth it? Like, it's the best thing you can invest on, right? And I focus on basically everything. I care about everything, especially copy. That's where I take the most time with my clients and with my work. So yeah, this is why Magic Mind is, in my opinion, the best of the best, the final boss of email marketing. And if you're looking for someone to do this for you and that understands the game and understands how to create good emails and good strategy as well, because the email itself is just one part, right? If you're looking for someone that can do all of this for you, I keep saying this a lot of times, apologize, you are in the right place. And yeah, that's basically that. Thank you very much for watching the entire thing. Hope you learned something from it. And I wish you an amazing rest of the day or night. Thank you.